In May 2000, the government of Rwanda adopted a decentralization policy as well as a strategy for its implementation. Now, decentralization is the process of shifting powers, authority, as well as responsibility from a central government to a local government. On this particular episode of Doing Business in Rwanda, we will focus on one of the ways that the government managed to do that, which is through the Citizen Outreach Program. I am Fiona Muthoni.
Before 1994 genocide, Rwanda was a very centralized, and it was centralized until early 2000, because you had to prepare for decentralization. It's not something that you enter into and you just so from 2001 we've defined our decentralization policy in 3 phases, which ended by 2016. Each of the phases had 5 years. So, and the purpose was to have a gradual system of empowerment of local government to ensure that the local governance is people-centered, it is oriented towards high-quality service delivery, and it impacts local economic development. We are still building, cementing, and consolidating gains from the 3 phases, and we are moving forward with that imperative of ensuring decentralization in a system that is accountable, that is transparent, and that creates greater opportunities for local community. Outreach program started immediately after 2003 elections. We have been able, through Citizen Outreach Program, to create a very strong bond between the community, the president, the government, and the leadership. So the Rwandan society, the Rwandan government, on most of the issues, government and people, they speak the same language, because the leadership and the people, they are together through citizen outreach. Second, it has enhanced accountability, whether we talk about fight against corruption, whether we talk about other systems of accountability of the leadership to the people, vertical accountability, or even horizontal accountability. That has increased tremendously.
Through the Citizen Outreach Program, the President visits different districts countrywide. In February 2019, he held a 2-day visit in Nyamagabe district, where on the first day, he held a closed meeting session with over 600 opinion leaders to discuss how to improve the district's annual performing contracts, locally known as Imihigo. And on the second day, he met and interacted with over 20,000 residents of Nyamagabe district.
You gave us your trust, and what is remaining is for us to build on it and serve you. That is one of the things that have brought me here. And building on the trust means developing the country. When we look at the poverty levels here and compare it to what the mayor has mentioned on the economic capability of Nyamagabe district, as well as what it is achieving now in the agriculture sector, you find that the low performance is either due to low participation rate or not enough efforts put in by some of the people who participate. Now, I understand that there are some areas that require the government to provide infrastructure like creating factories, providing access to electricity, but for the things that you can do on your own, let us work together in harmony for our own development.
His Excellency the President has been visiting this area of Southern Province, the meeting in Huye with opinion leaders, trying to understand the developments in this area and any challenges, and trying to see how we can be able to again contribute so that he can move the province forward. Yes. Today he was meeting ordinary people here in Nyamagabe, trying to understand the development process, how it has gone, and also any challenges that also are still pending so that he can be able so to provide the necessary assistance. We see that he is solving the problems on the spot and coming with the leaders, meaning that if there are issues that have not been resolved for many years, this is the time they should be resolved, and then he gets the feedback on how they have been resolved. That way then it has a big impact on the ordinary people. They can see that their leader, the president, is solving the problems on the spot. And this is a good example for the other leaders that you cannot sit and wait for the president to come back, because next time it won't be easy for you. So in other words, he's giving us leading by example by saying that we as leaders, we should be caring for the people. That's what we're here for. So this was a good example demonstrated by the president when he was solving problems on spot.
Yes, there are some solutions, but especially and most important, that guidance he was providing to us as leaders, but also to the population, because we need that mindset shift, because we have to know to work. You have seen that he has emphasized work and work together. How do we improve our work? How do we work efficiently to have that big impact? Our district is not, if you look at the economic status, is not very economically strong, but we have strong people that are able to work, and with the support from all institutions, the guidance from our highest leadership, and we are now empowered to implement all those ideas and all the government programs.
It's almost 16 years later after the Citizen Outreach Program was adopted. What impact has it had on Rwanda's economy?
10 years ago, less than 10% of our people had access to electricity. Today, they are around 40%. Water access today is above 70%. 10 years ago, it was way below 50%. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, only less than 20%, about 20% of our kids made from primary to secondary. Today, we have 9 years free education, 12 years. So it has pushed Rwanda to invest a lot in having a lot of schools near the communities. But this has been achieved because one of the channels of the outreach program is Umuganda, community works. And Umuganda has been very instrumental in building primary and secondary schools across the country. If I can give you numbers, when the government of Rwanda started the program of having 9 years basic education, budget-wise, it was an impossible undertaking from the government and donor perspectives. It is until we said, why don't we involve the communities in this project? So when they came in through Umuganda and community outreach, at the end of the project, which took just 2 years to make it, 67% of the effort to build 9 years and 12 years basic education was coming from the communities, while nearly 30% was coming from the government and about 5 or 6% was coming from the donor community. So this is just an illustration of how people can make their lives much better and can become the biggest donor of their own transformation if just the leadership can keep engaging them.
The citizen outreach helps a lot since it gives people the peace of mind of knowing that their leaders know the challenges they are facing and work hand in hand with them in finding solutions. It is also an indicator that our leaders are kept accountable of their actions and they work for the better good of the country. These efforts comfort the people since when they share, they are assured that the president knows their challenges and they work together in moving forward.
It is evident that Rwandans have learned to work hard. I was listening to what was said here and knowing that the citizens of Nyamagabe district once lived in extreme poverty, but through hard work, they have managed to develop. There is ease of transportation due to good tarmac roads that have connected all these areas. All these are attributed to the good partnerships between the citizens and their leaders. Our leaders are now going to put in more efforts in solving them because this is not a one-day activity.
The visit by the president has made me happy. I had never seen him before, but today I did, and it pleased me. I thank him for the rate at which the country is developing in all sectors. We have hope that all the problems that we have shared here today will be solved, because even in the past, whenever we would have such discussions with our leaders and the president as well, they always found solutions.
The youth are still needed to put in more efforts, and as the president said, they should remove their hands from their pockets, stop being idle, and work hard to find the solutions to their challenges. Unemployment rates are high, but there are efforts by the government to create a conducive environment for them to start their own businesses. They could venture into agriculture or anything else. The president is empowering the youth and encouraging them to take responsibility. For the economy to grow, they have to work. The president also encouraged people who moved from this region to Kigali to come back and invest in it. As an artist, entertaining poor people does not bring joy to me, neither does it to people who don't feel responsible enough to work for their country. As a young person, I also have a role to play in helping our leaders and the citizens develop through my arts.
That sums up today's edition of Doing Business in Rwanda. If you have any feedback, you can write us an email at dbir@abn360.com, or you can write to us on Twitter at dbirwanda or at CNBC Africa, or myself at Muthoni. Thank you for watching. I am Fiona Muthoni.